The city of Gotham is no stranger to dark and creepy characters. If anything, it is quite the safe haven for it. You have seemingly new contestants for Best New Supervillain gimmick every week, and while many of them fall to the wayside, damned to the dustbin of history, some manage to crawl out of the muck and grab the coveted title of modern classic: Professor Pig, Jane Doe, The Court of Owls, Lady Arkham, and The Batman Who Laughs, all fairly recent and all fairly popular. But there is one Gotham resident that never got the recognition that he deserved, but definitely got all of the recognition that he wanted. A resident who lurks in the shadows and hides in the park. A resident by the name of Simon Dark. While Gotham is notorious for vigilantes and their adversaries, few compare to the killer urban legend that is Simon Dark. Born from a combination of mad science and occult magic, Simon is a patchwork of nearly 24 murdered young men brought to life. Walking the streets of Gotham with no memories of who he is, his main haunting ground is the Gotham neighborhood known simply as the Village. His top adversary is the cult that brought him to life, and he fights against them with the aid of several friends he makes throughout the course of his story, including a similar, refined patchwork being masquerading as a police detective, the coroner who works alongside him, a local teenager who finds Dark fascinating, and the local grocery store owner, whom we later learn is the man who created Simon in the first place. As far as villains go, the aforementioned cult that helped bring him to life feels, admittedly, somewhat redundant. If any writer were to properly incorporate Simon Dark into the mythology of Gotham City, they could easily connect him to a pre-existing organization that already has a foothold in it, namely the League of Shadows or the Court of Owls. There's also another antagonist who shows up towards the end of the series, a previous attempt at making a creature like Simon that went awry and is now hell-bent on killing their creator, not unlike Frankenstein's monster. Even for a character that is connected to the paranormal, Simon has a fairly peculiar set of powers. He is relatively invulnerable to physical harm, or at least does not seem to feel any sort of pain. He is able to see and read into a person's past, present, and future by touching them. And most interestingly, he is able to alter his face to look like those of the 20 or so teenage boys whose parts comprise him in the first place. At the end, we learn that he can bring people back from the dead by giving up one of the souls that inhabit him. But what I love most about him is his demeanor and personality. He behaves a lot like a kid who is not aware that cutting people's heads off with a piano wire kills them. He's like a cross between the Crow, Michael Myers, No-Face, and Edward Scissorhands. He's an endearing zombie who is wary of strangers but also loves to make friends. He cares a lot about justice and the safety of others, including small animals, but doesn't know when to stop and pull his punches. In fact, there is a rather morbid yet humorous moment where one of the antagonists kills his cat, and so he asks his newfound friends to help him put it back together in the hopes that it'll reform itself. Now you may be watching this and wondering, okay, this guy seems really neat and all, but what does this have to do with Batman? Well, at the risk of coming across as dishonest, he's not technically a Batman character. Apart from his 18-issue series, which ran from 2007 to 2009, he's not appeared in any other DC comics or media to speak of. And so the reason why I titled this video The Most Underrated Batman Character is because of the incredible amount of potential surrounding him, his origin, and his relationship with the city as a whole. DC has a lot of fantastic noir and paranormal-centric entities within its universe, and so it's a crime that the creators at DC haven't yet integrated this guy into the Bat family, or given him something to do with John Constantine or the Endless. I'm sure he would probably get along great with the likes of Jason Todd, The Question, Teen Titans, or Young Justice. Simon Dark has all the hallmarks of a fan favorite. He has an iconic look that is incredibly easy to cosplay or draw. He has a unique set of powers that lend himself well to team stories. He has a very lovable personality that appeals to audiences, and in a strange way, he still manages to be very relatable. To me, Simon Dark sort of represents the current state of young adulthood. Bereft of identity, wandering through the world, desperate for the slightest showing of affection and love, terrorized by fear of rejection, he can be brooding and lonesome, a loner without a home or family to call his own, preferring to stay in the darkness, observing the world from a distance. His true motivations and drives remain largely an enigma. Simon is a man of great conviction and courage. He is willing to fight for what he believes in and do what is right, no matter the cost. He is determined to take risks and make tough decisions when necessary. He is also loyal and compassionate, often taking the time to help those in need, even when it puts him in great danger. Simon Dark is a character that readers come to root for. He is a complex individual with his own bag of strengths, weaknesses, and fears. He may be distant, but he has inner strength that shines through when it matters most. He is a character that will stay with readers long after they've finished his story. Hopefully, a story that can continue. But until then, we'll just have to stay content, hiding with Simon in the shadows. Hey everyone, how are you doing? Hope you enjoyed the video. I sure had a lot of fun making it. If you did enjoy it and would like to see more, I would highly recommend that you check out the video I posted several months back about who I would like to see in the next Batman film. And if you would like to see the videos earlier, as well as a bunch of exclusive stuff, and of course support the channel, I would also greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to my Patreon located down in the description. Of course, you can get a shout out every time I release a video, and this video's shout out is of course going to my first ever Patreon, Sir Leon. Thank you, Sir Leon, and of course thanks to all of you, both subscribers and newcomers. Hope to see you all in the next one. Until then, this is J. Brad, signing out.